This is the opposition that they've got to overcome today.
This indeed is the opposition. The Nottingham Forest team, as they run out, teenagers galore in that side there, and quite a moment for some of them in their early days of league football to run out at Goodison Park. And 5 of that team, as I've just mentioned, highlighted here, cost nothing and are very much on the young side, which means they've all grown up through the Clough Academy with good playing habits and good discipline too. And the guys who stand out there among those teenagers and homegrown products are Pierce, Webb and Franz Carr, all well known and worth considerably more now than the price Brian Clough paid for them. Franz Carr coming back after a long absence, but before which he was terrorising full-backs on the right flank there. But the extremely astute purchases appear to be first Colin Foster, just £50,000 from Leyton Orient, an ever-present this team this season, and a member of the team all a while. Now that's standing for £50,000 First Division centre-half, Trevor.
Yes, I mean, I remember him in his Leyton Orient days, Colin Foster. He is a very tall, commanding player, and of course they've got the perfect foil alongside Des Walker, who's very quick. But with a swirling wind today, you know, I think his aerial command will be very important, because he is very tall and really at times doesn't even have to jump to dominate the penalty area, but certainly done very, very well this season.
And the other astute buy is Tommy Gaynor. Now that was £25,000 from Doncaster Rovers reserves, I understand.
Yes, I mean, you've also got the young Phil Starbuck as well playing up front with him, but Tommy Gaynor coming from Brian Clough, I should think he's been delighted having picked him up, what, for just £25,000, and really, I mean, Dave Mackay's taken over Doncaster, must be wishing that he'd held on to him, because he has been very impressive, looked very elusive, and of course with the absence now of Nigel Clough, who pulled a hamstring last week, a lot will depend on Tommy Gaynor, because Phil Starbuck, the young lad alongside him, is inexperienced, and it's a lot to ask those two this afternoon to perhaps be the people that have got to score the goals against Everton.
Well, so much. What about the forecast? So far, so good.
Yes, well, I mean, it's interesting because Nottingham Forest have picked up more points than any other team. That includes Liverpool away from home. Now, 7 wins out of 11, but I'm going to go for the experience of Everton at home. I think after 2 away defeats, they need a result. So I'm sorry, Everton supporters, Everton for me.
Well, I'm going to hope that Brian Clough's lads come through on a wing and a prayer. Those young boys, they're doing so well to be where they are in the league, and let our hopes be with them this afternoon. As we hand over to Bobby Charlton and match commentator John Motson.
And also a very happy holiday for the game of football in general, with today's crowds. The total attendances at the holiday matches over the last 9 days look like amounting to something like 2 million. And that means £7 million in the bank for football. That's got to be good news. The 2 captains this afternoon then, Kevin Ratcliffe of Everton on the right and Stuart Pearce of Nottingham Forest on the left. In the centre, the referee is George Courtney, who's moved house recently but still lives in Spennymoor, County Durham, and his linesmen are John Robinson from Wigan with the red trim on the flag, and Bob Turner from Skipton, who's got the yellow flag. Down on the team benches, nice to see Paul Bracewell there, 2 from the end. He's had 5 operations, the young Everton midfield player, on a damaged ankle, the last one in fact in San Francisco, and Paul is now making his way back through the reserves. He's had 2.5 games. Paul Power next to him there's also had an operation, and it's good to see Paul Bracewell coming back into the limelight. But without him, Everton in the blue shirts and white shorts will start this Barclays League Division 1 match. That's the front partnership there. Wayne Clark wearing 9 in place of Sharp, as Trevor Brooking pointed out, and Adrian Heath alongside him, who's made a very quick recovery from a twisted and bruised ankle which he received at Sheffield Wednesday on Friday. But as we start the match here, I think viewers will forgive me if we spend a little more time identifying the players of Nottingham Forest early on, because this is possibly their first exposure to this sort of nationwide audience, this refreshing young Nottingham Forest team in red. There's Pearce, the left back. Wilson is number 11 for Everton, and number 5, just seeing it back there, was Foster. 6'4", the former Leyton Orient centre-half. Stevens. There's a swirling wind which is bound to affect the game. That was Clark being picked up by the offender, Pearce. George Courtney has an early word, and Forest must be aware of David Watson, the centre-half of Everton, because anything like this, he's up in the penalty area, causing difficulties. Foster, the man to mark him, got it away. Trevor Stephen can't get it back in first time. Webb, superbly he's been playing recently. This is Tommy Gaynor, number 10. Foul by him on Ratcliffe. Actually, I'm talking about the audience, and maybe some of you saw the Guinness six-a-side competition at the GMX Centre in Manchester, which Forest won the other week. We saw a few of these players in that. This is Webb, one of them. I think the win, Bobby Charlton's going to play a big part today.
Yes, not the type of conditions that most players like to play under, but Everton having the best of it in the first half with regard to the wind. It'll be a big test for these inexperienced at this sort of level with the Nottingham Forest youngsters.
That was Starbuck challenging Watson. Here's Snowden. Franz Carr. This is not a lucky ground for Nottingham Forest. You have to go back to 1977 to find a league win here. And that was quite a significant season because Forest, having just come up from the second division, won the First Division Championship at the first attempt. Clark for Everton. Here's Rice, number 11. It went across to Wilson, and that's the other Wilson, Terry Wilson, number 6, getting the better of his namesake. Franz Carr, been out for 6 games. And here's Webb. Just to point out the two Wilsons, Everton have Ian Wilson at number 11, and they're in the middle of the field. They're both together, in fact, in the middle of the field. Number 6, Terry Wilson, only 18. Been an important presence in the Nottingham Forest central area these last few weeks. Trevor Stephen was a bit late. That's Stuart Pearce again. That's his second. Peter Reid receiving treatment as Gary Stevens takes the free kick for Everton. And they had 2 men on Watson. This is Gaynor. And Clark finds his position on the far side of the area, still waiting for the cross. And that's not going to come this time. Reid is waiting to come back on the far side and gets a round of applause. Chettle beaten by Clark. Ian Wilson. Good running by Snowden, who's got the pace to worry them from the middle of the field. Finds Vanden Hauwe. Reid. Watson. The goalkeeper there, Steve Sutton, is 26, and he's the oldest player in the team. Forest really rebuilding and giving youth its chance. Came off Vanden Hauwe, and here's Gaynor with a chance for Forest. Good save, Southall. Rice following up, number 11. Struck Gary Stevens, corner. Gaynor, the man who found a way through the centre, presented to him really. Neville Southall made an excellent save there. Typical of his concentration. Chettle. And he's there again as the goalkeeper. That was after 5 minutes play, and the first opening falling to Nottingham Forest. Southall coming out, standing up in front of Gaynor, making it hard for him. Gary Stevens. Trevor Stephen. Reid's made a forward run. Neil Webb trying to track him back, and this time it's Sutton who comes out quickly. This is a promising start, Bobby. There's some lively attacking here.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Of course, the wind will make it that way, especially initially, but Colin Foster, the big number 5, 6'5".
Here's Starbuck, meantime, for Forest. Yes, he's a tall lad, isn't he?
I was just saying, 6'5", he's won 3 crosses that have come in, something that Everton would expect to excel at. And, of course, he's a big lad, 6'5", doesn't have to jump that high. But certainly, Forrest give them a fright there. That Gaynor had a great chance to put them all up.
Here's Starbuck. That's a foul by Ratcliffe. Rain falling quite heavily now to add more difficulties to the wind which the players have already got to contend with. That's chipped up for Tommy Gaynor. Here's Rice. Brian Rice, left-sided midfield player who only had 3 league games last season. In fact, he went on loan to Grimsby for a spell. He's 24 and came from Hibernian originally. Pearce. Header by Watson. Webb. Heath challenged him. Reid got away. Stevens. Watson. Reid. Very orderly, the Everton build-up here. It's aimed at Clark, coming in far side. Wilson's also there. And a corner given as Wilson closed in. Clark has moved into the near post position and Watson is waiting for the deep one. This is Reid. Back into Stevens. In comes Watson and they'll need Big Foster back there to deal with that sort of service. Gaynor's gone back as well and it's going to be Ian Wilson to curl the corner in. And again Gary Stevens. Ian Wilson. And Watson's still there, but there's some pushing this time. Watson sneaked up to score at Old Trafford on Monday, Bobby, late in the game, and gave Manchester United a fright towards the end.
Yes, well, he's a big, strong competitor. Of course, Everton's game really is built around getting good, quick service in, and Gary Stevens at that particular time sent the ball right in very quickly to the far post, which just found them a little wanting.
Pearce for Forest, offside. That's Rice got caught. Stephen. Foster waiting for the bounce. Gaynor. Two teams drew 0-0 at the City Ground very early in the season. On by Snowden. Oh, it's a good challenge by Terry Wilson on Peter Reid. Webb looking for Gaynor. And this is the way Forest like to play. They pull players back. When they win the ball, they're very quick to counter. 10 minutes gone at Goodison Park. Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Chettle. Reid. And Howe continues. He's been out for a while, Pat Vanden Howe. In fact, he's missed the last 6 games with a groin injury. But now that Poynton is injured, he's got his chance to come back. Here's Stevens. Oh, good touch by Heath. This is Snowden, but he didn't get the ball into Wayne Clark that would have opened up the whole defence. It's a good break, and Adrian Heath's touch there was vital. Also very clever. Watson's in there. Trevor Stephen. Good block. Peter Reid. Wide again. Heath. Vanden Hauwe. Stephen. Wilson. 1 foot. Exciting stuff there from Everton, but Nottingham Forest, as the manager would want, had got plenty of bodies back in front of the goalkeeper, and really, that's what kept out the shot. Brian Clough there just celebrated his 23rd Christmas as a Football League manager. That's certainly a record among his contemporaries. But I suppose his players keep him young. No. This is Reid. Well, this has started in promising fashion. Both teams looking to attack. Everton going to enjoy the greatest share of play, I'm sure. But on the break, here's Starbuck, and that's what Forest will be hoping for. He's only just 19, Philip Starbuck. Webb. Carr, who hasn't had much of the ball yet. If you've just joined us, a bright and breezy start here. Breezy in more ways than one. 13 minutes gone, Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 0, but openings in both penalty areas already. Here's the Everton captain, Ratcliffe. Foster with Clark. Ian Wilson, challenged by Terry Wilson. Vanden Hauwe. Pearce coming across. Ian Wilson again, Heath. Vanden Hauwe still wide. Trevor Stephen, Clarkson there! Oh, what a great goal by Wayne Clark! Oh, that's a terrific goal by Everton. And the man who gets a lot of credit is Pat Vanden Hauwe. He's been knocking crosses in his opening period, flicked on by Trevor Stephen, and Wayne Clark, the diving header, the classic goal.
You'll not see a better goal scored than that anywhere in the country this year. Pat Vanden Hauwe down the left-hand side of the field, and Everton's build-up has been really good when they've gone wide. A little touch on by Trevor Stephen, and the ball in the back of the net with a powerful header from Wayne Clark. Absolutely first-class football.
Great boost for Clark, who's come back into the side today in place of Graham Sharp. The goal came after 14 minutes, and it's no more than Everton deserve, because they'd really pushed on right from the start. And the crosses that were coming in from the left were delightful. Oh, good touch. Clark again with Ian Wilson. Here's Clark. Here's Wilson. And here's Gary Stevens, wide again, Trevor Stephen. In it goes once more. And again they use the full width of the pitch, and at last Forest get the ball away. Webb. Gaynor. Offside, Carr. Well, I wouldn't think over the last 9 days there have been many better goals scored in the Barclays League than that. The build-up was crisp and direct, and the finish was devastating. Play on on, says George Courtney, a referee well known for trying to apply the advantage. Peter Reid. Ratcliffe. Foul. Des Walker on Adrian Heath, just outside the area. Peter Reid is just standing close to the ball, organising things. Trevor Stephen is just behind him. Wilson is there as well. Snowden standing just to their right, and here is Snowden. Deflection. And Forest scampering out of defence again. 3 men to the right of Rice here. One of them is Gaynor here. There goes Carr, and here comes Southall. That's a good pass to Heath, look at that. He was so surprised. From the goalkeeper, they're what, 60 yards or so. Well, the sort of goal, Bobby Charlton, to lift any game.
Well, it's a classic header, really unstoppable. There wasn't much that the defenders could do about it because it happened so quick. The ball played down to Van den Houwen on the left-hand side of the field. Good control, quick service in, almost unstoppable. But Everton controlling most of the things at the moment. Peter Reid having a lot to do and finding a lot of the ball. As is young Ian Wilson on the left-hand side of the field. Had a lot of good possession.
Yes, Everton have been playing more down the left than the right in this opening period. This is Heath. And this is Reid. Turned in well, Clark's there again. So was Stephen. And applause ringing round the ground for the way Everton are playing. So Van den Houwen, whose cross led to that goal, to take the throw for Everton. Chettle needed the help of Gaynor. Webb's back in defence as well, looking for an outlet. Starbuck, Ratcliffe coming behind him. Good advantage played by the referee. Flags up for offside against Carr. Ratcliffe, as befits his name, rattled Starbuck from behind there, but George Courtney appreciated that Forest at that moment had the ball. Snowden. Well, Everton seem determined to put these 2 away defeats behind them. Trevor Brookings suggested might happen. Battling for everything in there. That's hooked away by Foster. If you've just tuned in, Everton leading Nottingham Forest by 1-0 and an excellent goal it was by Wayne Clark, the number 9. Diving header. Franz Carr away from Ian Wilson, who then fouled him. So now a chance for Forest to send their big number 5 forward. That's Colin Foster making his way up. Wayne Clark will have to go back to mark him, or will he leave it to Dave Watson? Starbuck. Foster's in there. Carr. And Ian Wilson concedes the corner. Forest first. "20 minutes gone. Carr to take the kick. Foster hovering inside the 6-yard box. There he was. Didn't get a good contact. Heath and Walker. make the point that Everton have the advantage of that wind in the first half, and certainly this Forest defence having to work overtime. Vanden Hauwe will take the throw again. Chettle. The wind certainly deceived Stuart Pearce. This is Rice. Back in by Gary Stevens. Webb. Gaynor. That's a good turn by Tommy Gaynor. Starbuck. Reid. Snowden. Oh, good scrap in the middle of the field, there's no doubt about that. Well, at last, they can get the ball forward, and all credit to them for not taking the easy option and going back to the goalkeeper. Here's Gary Stevens. Trevor Steven. Heath is coming in here. Sutton was stretching. Ian Wilson. Well played, the keeper. Goalkeeper and right back all rolled into one there.
Another great early cross from Trevor Steven that time, and Steve Sutton glad to actually just get it away whichever way he could. But really good crosses and build-up play by Everton.
Here's Snowden. Slight miscue, but Watson was backing up. Gary Stevens. Oh, intercepted by Philip Starbuck and then by Peter Reid. Look at that. And he's still got it. And Watson just recovering his balance in time. Well, you can't take your eyes off this one in the opening 25 minutes or so. That's Terry Wilson looking on the far side for Carr, and a little slip by Vanden Hauwe. Three waiting in the centre. Well, the obvious ball is the Chettle here. Four waiting in the middle now. Flag was up for offside against Gaynor. Stephen, again a good advantage played. That might be asking a bit much of Reid. Stephen, oh, good play. Reid again. Clark comes short. And it's Des Walker. Very swift, lively opening period here. Everton lead by 1-0. I think sometimes when you sit in the crowd, you lose sight of just how quickly the game is played. Carr. Chettle. Pearce. Webb. And Webb again. And Starbuck. And Starbuck's second attempt. And now Terry Wilson. Reid. Everton have got players to his right. One of them here is Wayne Clark. Gary Stevens, a terrific run from right back. And he got in behind Pearce. Foster blocked him. Well, I don't know how far he covered there, Gary Stevens, but it was more than half the length of the pitch. Corner to Everton. In goes Clark. That's Peter Reid's shot, deflection. What a terrific save. Brilliant reaction reactions by Steve Sutton. Well, he can afford to smile now. That was a drive by Peter Reid that took a definite deflection, and what a good save. But let's stick with the corner. Vanden Hauwe on the near post. Clark's in there. Corner again. They've got Vanden Hauwe and Clark standing one behind the other in there. Vanden Hauwe, Chettle away this time. Corner number 4. Good stuff. Vanden Hauwe again. Clark again. And again a corner. Well, that near post is so crowded, and Trevor Stevens' delivery is so good that Forest can only get the ball back again behind the goal. That was Webb this time. Oh, well played, Ratcliffe. And now Forest can at last draw breath. Stuart Pearce. Everton winning it back and moving so sweetly. Heath again. I don't think I've seen a more compelling first half hour of a match this season. And most of it's down to Everton, because they've clicked into gear right from the start today, and Steve Sutton takes the credit that his side haven't gone 2 down. That will go down, I think, as one of the saves of the season. I don't think he could have seen it for more than a split second, Bobby.
No, really unbelievable save. It was just a quick reflex and the ball's over the top. But what a cracking game we've got. Really good football. The wind is a bit gusty, so you're going to have a little bit of indecision in defence. But nevertheless, I still feel that Nottingham Forest are still playing it quite cool. They're only 1 goal down. If they have the wind in the second half behind the back, then they're very much still in this match. But really exciting stuff. People on their feet around us here enjoying every minute of it.
Stephen to Reid. When Everton move like this, the understanding is quite phenomenal. Reid again. Oh, he threatened to go all the way. He's found Wilson, and Foster gets a foot in. Colin Harvey has every reason to be proud about the way his team are playing this afternoon. But he would like another goal to go with it, that's for sure. Carr. Because Forest, when they get the ball, can be dangerous, but Everton are denying them possession. Ian Wilson again, Reid. Starbuck. So, half an hour gone in this Barclays League Division 1 match. Everton 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Fair reflection. Everton might well have had another. Here's Reid. Chettle. Flags up. Ball was out there. Gainer. Chettle forward. Carr is so fast. And if Vanden Hauwe lets him go, which he didn't, Everton will get turned. It was a good recovery by the fullback. He really sensed the danger there and got back round Carr quickly. Good touch, Heath to Stephen. Stephen again from Chettle's half clearance. Gary Stevens, Clark didn't fall for him. Pearce. Snowden, Heath. Almost over the head of Des Walker. It's Gary Stevens. They're peppering the Forest goal, Everton. Ian Wilson. Oh, good ball. Webb for Carr, who read it beautifully. Ahead of Van den Hauwe for a second. Two waiting in the centre. He's waiting for more support. Still Carr. Oof, goodness. Here's Tommy Gaynor. The drive by Webb. Rice. Gaynor with a chance. Offside. Post. Wouldn't have mattered. The linesman on the far side is flagging. Offside against Tommy Gaynor. But now we've got some excitement in the other penalty area.
Well, it was mayhem in there for a short period of time, and Trevor Stephen, very fortunate, I thought, to get away with a handball. We may not be able to see it in the action when we played, but there were so many people in there. He actually did look really quite guilty when the ball came to him and touched him on the hand, but there was so much going on, the referee seemed to miss it. But very fortunate for Everton that they got away with that. Forest very quick to strike, especially on the break. Franz Carr always waiting to see when Neil Webb was going to play the ball forward, and steals that extra yard, which will give him a little bit of a start on Van den Hauwe. Still a lot to play for in this match for both sides.
Yes, that was the first time we've seen Franz Carr in his most deadly position, wide on the right, getting past the fullback and then cutting the ball into the waiting strikers. That's his great strength, his pace. Here's Reid. Ratcliffe. Walker only as far as Reid, and this is Starbuck. Watson, Clark, Reid. When you see Everton play like this, it makes you wonder quite how they find themselves 19 points behind Liverpool in the First Division. I suppose that's basically a compliment to Liverpool, Bobby.
Well, it is, and of course they are the champions and everyone wants to beat them, so they found it particularly hard this year, as will next year's champions when they have to start next season's campaign. It's a problem that successful teams always have.
Starbuck. Pearce. Gaynor. And here's Starbuck with a chance. Well, with a bit more experience, might have done better, but just going Brian Clough there, recently voted Manager of the Month again. I was just thinking, Bobby, a manager for over 22 years now. I think he'll be challenging your own former manager Matt Busby's record soon for length of time in football management.
Yes, he's done a terrific job, though. God, I remember Brian Clough when we used to play together. I won't go into that too much.
35 minutes gone here at Goodison Park. And Clough's team, Nottingham Forest, trailing by 1-0. Of course, the First Division Championship table does tell the story, doesn't it? Everton have been beaten 6 times and Liverpool haven't been beaten at all. That's a measure of just how well the team across the park have played. Reid sorting things out again, as he so often does. Ratcliffe. Stephen. Clark closing. Oh, he's hit the bar. Another brilliant, instinctive effort. by Wayne Clark. Coming in here from behind the defender initially, the right foot shot first time, and it hit the bar and went over. Well, there's been a lot of talk about Everton looking for another striker. Mark Walters, a player that they were said to want to buy in the week, and he went to Glasgow Rangers. They're being linked today, I see, with Danny Wallace. Perhaps there's an incentive for Wayne Clark and Adrian Heath to just show what they're made of, and Clark certainly has in this first half. He scored one, and unlucky there not to get a second. And I should think one or two of his brothers will be watching this one. Comes from the famous footballing family of five. Heath. And there goes Clark again, and Sutton coming to claim it. Backheeled by Webb to Chettle. Forest starting to get something of a foothold now, having spent most of the time in beleaguered defence. You can now hear their supporters. Here's Carr. Terry Wilson. Rice. Pearce. Everton worked so hard to win the ball back. That was Gary Stevens and Trevor Stephen, whose pass is looking for Heath, and Des Walker striding it out with him. And hooks the ball down the line. Now Starbuck. Terry Wilson, he's onside, Neil Webb, the flag stayed down. Everton looking at the linesman as they did at Arsenal a few weeks ago, but once again, in my opinion, the official was right. Van der Now played him on that occasion. Forward by Stevens. Pearce. Actually, it's been nice to see a first half almost devoid of offsides and fouls. Stephen. Oh, that's a lovely jinking run. Snowden turning it in for Clark. The supporters around me were thinking that Snowden should have had a shot then, but Clark was his other option.
It's very interesting, John. We're talking about Brian Clough. The one thing that he has produced with his sides are youngsters who are quite composed. Even though they've been under the collar for most of this match, they've still kept well composed. They haven't panicked when a lot of clubs come into a big ground like this and haven't had the pressure that they've had to endure, might well have gone. But they're still there, they're still very much in it.
Yes, I saw them play recently at Wimbledon and Arsenal, Bobby, and I was impressed by their temperament, as you say, and also by the way they conducted themselves. Here's Wilson, through to Snowden. Heath couldn't get the shot, and he might now. No, he can't. Can Wilson? No, he can't either. Reid, as Everton relentlessly power forward again. Heath got the touch, Reid goes through. This is so exciting. Drive and imagination in the Everton attack. And a huge ovation again from a very satisfied crowd. 5 minutes to half-time. Everton 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Heath with Walker. And Heath is through. Well played, the keeper. He just showed enough of it to him, Adrian Heath, in battling past Walker, but Sutton pounced. Well, this is the sort of match that spectators want to see, being played in one of the finest league arenas in the country. Rice for Forest. Snowden for Everton. Terry Wilson got a foot round the ball. Ian Wilson darts in. Reed. Gary Stevens marching on from right back as Trevor Stephen has the ball. Reed. Heath! Oh, what power in that. Was the power on the cross or on the header, Bobby?
Well, both. Actually, if Adrian Heath had scored with that one, it would have been unquestionably the goal of the season. But a great cross, and for a little lad, he's a very brave player, Adrian Heath. Everton playing actually as if they were champions. They really do believe in themselves today. They're putting everything they can forward as quickly as they can. The control is good. Everything is right. As far as Colin Harvey's concerned, it would just be a little bit better if they had that extra goal.
Yes, here's a warning for them. It's Tommy Gaynor on the ball for Forest. Here's Rice. It can go square again to Neil Webb. Colin Harvey, who succeeded Howard Kendall in the summer, keeping the continuity going here at Goodison Park. Terry Darracott there next to him is his assistant. And they've still got a few points to make, but their team have done them proud in this first half, and nobody more so, in my view, than the player coach on the pitch, Peter Reid. And Brian Clough will have, I've no doubt, noted his performance, because he's giving the Forest midfield a lot to think about.
Yeah, it is nice for us to look forward to the Nations Cup in the summer, and hopefully a fit Peter Reid will give us a really good chance. I'm sure he's one of the great midfield players. Certainly the most impressive midfield player I've seen this season.
And here's the man again. 2 minutes to half-time. Everton 1-0. Trevor Stephen. Gary Stevens. Could be on for the shot. He was just jostled by Starbuck as he delivered it. Yes, it's vital that players of authority like Peter Reid are used to influence the others, and many managers will tell you that it isn't only what they do, it's what they can inspire in other people. Stevens. Forest 1-0 down against the wind. Bearing in mind the quality of Everton's football, they've not done at all badly. This is Tommy Gaynor. They've had some nice breaks. Rice. Ratcliffe. Webb. Swinging ball out to Franz Carr. Up against Van den Hauwe again. Away by Ratcliffe. Foster coming forward. Watson belts it back. The last minute of the first half here at Goodison. It's Heath for Everton, who lead 1-0. Ian Wilson. Snowden's made a forward run, number 10. He's got two in the middle if he can get the ball back in. And he just put it behind Wayne Clark and not near enough to Ian Wilson. Clark to Stephen. Well, I read one or two managers were complaining that there was too much football over this period and the players were getting tired and jaded. Well, I tell you what, Everton aren't, and I don't think Forest are either. And who would want to deprive the public of a match like this at holiday time? It's been a sparkling, scorching first half. And the players follow their managers down the tunnel and leave the field to a standing ovation. Nobody more so than Wayne Clark, who scored the goal with a diving header after 14 minutes, putting Brian Clough's team behind. And indeed, it could have been 2 or 3 after that, although they were up against the wind, Forest. Clark also hit the bar, and there were all manner of near escapes. But at half-time at Goodison, as we get our breath back, it's Everton 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
And indeed, it was a first half rich with good football and good passing and good manners too. And most of the excitement around the Nottingham Forest goal. And I think, first of all, we'll take a look at that excitement now.
Ian Wilson, challenged by Terry Wilson. Van den Hauw. Pearce coming across. Ian Wilson again, Heath. Van den Hauw still wide. Trevor Stephen, Clarkson there. Oh, what a great goal by Wayne Clark. Oh, that's a terrific goal by Everton. And the man who gets a lot of credit is Pat Van den Hauw. He's been knocking crosses in this opening period. Flicked on by Trevor Stephen. And Wayne Clark, the diving header, the classic goal. Stephen, Clark closing. Oh, he's hit the bar. Another brilliant, instinctive effort by Wayne Clark. Coming in here from behind the defender initially, the right foot shot first time, and it hit the bar and went over.
Well, there's some performance by Everton in that half, inspired by Peter Reid. Our colleagues already sort of half selected him as the man of the match, certainly the first half. Remember, we do have to pick the Barclays man of the match. Obviously, Peter Reid likes that champagne that's handed out at the end of the game. But let's have a look at his all-round ability to inspire people from the middle of the field. First of all, in his own position, the tenacity with which he tackles when he's confronted by a crowd of players. Picks it up here, he reacts quickly. There's one, it's my ball, I want it. Most of the time that you do keep the ball, if you've got that amount of determination to stay on it, lovely agility, quick reaction, and very, very strong legs. If Billy Bonds can do it at 40, why can't I do it at 30 or whatever it is, he says. His passing ability is really outstanding. One of the beauties is the pace is always right for the distance. And here, just look at the way he drives that ball across the field. And it's perfect for the run, just doesn't need any controlling, sits up and begs, really, for the player, inviting him to accelerate further up the field. And lastly, somewhere where you don't often see him, around the edge of the penalty area, or you see him around there, but you don't often see him making a contribution from there. This time it's a powerful shot. As the ball comes out from the corner, boom, with his left foot, going on the target, a deflection from Foster brings out a fine save there from Sutton. So the all-round performance, and there was more than that from Peter Reid. But the game's going as you expected, Trevor.
Yes, I mean, they did have the wind in the first half. I mean, you mentioned Peter Reid, he has been excellent. I think it's ever since he darkened his hair, Jim, and I think the rest of his body feels younger as well. But, I mean, he's been superb the whole season, not just today. I mean, I've seen Everton on a number of occasions, and he's been outstanding. But they've got forward well. Ian Snowden alongside Peter Reid has made a lot of forward runs, Ian Wilson as well, Gary Stevens, which they haven't always done this year from deep positions.
Yeah.
And really, Wayne Clark, I think, is probably having his best game. He much prefers playing the target man. I mean, with Graham Sharp being out, obviously he's been allowed to play that role, whereas normally when I've seen him, he's played alongside Graham Sharp, and that hasn't really gelled together.
Yeah. The Forest side, not exactly disappointing, but overwhelmed by the quality of Everton's play.
Yes, I mean, I think, as we were saying in the first 45 minutes, really, they'll be pleased going in 1-0 down because they have been under a lot of pressure. They have got the win. Brian Clough is a great motivator, and I'm sure he'll be lifting them. Up front, the young lad Phil Starbuck has struggled to get into the game. I'm wondering whether Paul Wilkinson, a taller, more experienced lad who's used to playing at Goodison Park, might get an airing in the second half.
I like one or two touches from the boy Wilson. Did you?
Yes, the young sort of blonde-haired lad in midfield. I mean, he's really the ball winner, the tenacious lad. He's got a couple of goals over the holiday period, but he usually gets the ball, feeds it to Neil Webb, who at the moment hasn't had the opportunity to get forward to support people like France Carr. But they've got a very good understanding, and they're still definitely in this game second half.
Well, we shall see about that. There is some news, of course, that is coming. The first managerial casualty of 1988, Billy McEwan, has been sacked by Sheffield United, which is sad news. Sorry? Oh, he resigned. I'm terribly sorry. The news has just come in at this moment. It's hot. We don't want to accuse the directors of Sheffield United of something that they didn't do. So he actually resigned. It is the first casualty in 1988. But now we have a manager who I can assure you will not be a casualty in 1988. That's Alex Ferguson. He's here watching the match and talking to Bob Wilson.
Alec, Happy New Year to you. What do you think of that first half?
Absolutely superb. Excellent football, particularly from Everton. Some of their one-touch football has been very, very good.
I think one of your own directors, Bobby Charlton, has said they're playing like champions.
Yes, I would agree. That's the best I've seen him play since we played him here in September. Very, very good performance. And I thought they started a bit nervous. Obviously, the 1 or 2 bad results recently. But once they got their game going and got their passing going, and particularly Peter Reid, of course, a great influence on the side, he's really set them off in some excellent one-touch football.
Is it possible for Everton, for Forest, for yourselves, for Arsenal, for anybody to catch Liverpool? I mean, the bookies and the critics say no.
Well, they can only throw away now, Liverpool, can't they? They're in a position where they can afford 1 or 2 defeats, as long as it's only 1 or 2 towards the end of the season. And we've all got to hope and pray that they do that, because you can't give in. I mean, your supporter, they'll be optimists, and we've got to be super optimists and hope it can be done.
You've been a few months in the job. How difficult has it been for you?
Well, I think management does a difficult job. It's difficult for Manchester United to get the expectations and meet the expectations of everyone at the club. But it's getting a bit better. There's a purpose about the club now, and I think there's a sense of direction.
You've already bought Steve Bruce, Alec. There's news that you had a bid for Alec McLeish as well.
Well, sometimes you read the speculation in papers. It's every week it's somebody been associated with Manchester United. But we have a problem for the Littlewoods Cup tie in that Steve Bruce is unavailable. And of course Paul McGrath is recovering from this small operation he had. So we have a problem there for that particular game. And it's something we are looking at the moment.
How much of a problem have you got with Ipswich next week? We're looking forward to the live match of the day down there in the cup tie against Ipswich.
Well, I mean, away tie in the FA Cup is always a hard match, as you know. You always hope you get a home draw. But it's a hard one. They're doing well this season. It's a ground where, you know, it's a good ground to play in. It's a good area, good surface. There's a lot of advantages for us. You could get worse ones, I can believe me in that. I look at some of the draws, you know, see Derby versus Chelsea, Sheffield Wednesday versus Everton. You know, so we're not too unhappy about it.
We're looking forward to it. Thanks very much, Alex.
Nice to see Alex Ferguson relaxed and smiling on a Sunday under no pressure, Trev. As we aren't, except I'm going to put you under pressure and say, are they still going to continue in that way, Everton, in the second half?
I expect Nottingham Forest to do themselves perhaps a little bit more justice going forward with the support of the wind behind them. Everton, though, being 1-0 up, will probably be sitting there a bit disappointed that they've not got that couple of goal cushion. But they are here on their home surface behind their crowd. I feel that they'll still, at the end, stick with my prediction and that they will be ahead. But I'm hoping that Neil Webb-Francois can come more and more into the game.
Well, it's worth, I think, one more look at the brightest moment of that excellent first half, and that was, of course, the goal by Wayne Clark. It really was something.
Ian Wilson, challenged by Terry Wilson. Van den Hauw. Pearce coming across. Ian Wilson again, Heath. Van den Hauw still wide. Trevor Stephen, Clarkson there. Oh, what a great goal by Wayne Clark. A terrific goal by Everton, and the man who gets a lot of credit is Pat Van den Hauw. He's been knocking crosses in this opening period, flicked on by Trevor Stephen, and Wayne Clark, the diving header, the classic goal.
Well, that was a move that gave me the chance, really, to point out one of Ron Greenwood's favourite phrases. What is his version of the perfect pass? And it is one that enables the guy to who it's going to play at first time. That really was superb. First time passing at its best, resulting in the goal, but now we'll hope to see more of that kind of passing in the second half as we join Bobby Charlton and John Watson again.
Yes, I was interested to hear Alex Ferguson talking there about the live match of the day next Sunday, which I hope you'll all be joining us for, Ipswich Town against Manchester United in the FA Cup, because I saw Ipswich play yesterday against Millwall, and there's some very good football being played in the second division this season, never mind the first. And it's all very encouraging when you bear in mind that the crowds have flocked to Barclays League grounds in all divisions over this busy Christmas and New Year period. And picking up a point also that Alex was asked there about the Championship, it might be worth pointing out that Nottingham Forest are the only club yet to play Liverpool. They are in the position of having to meet them twice in the month of April, because originally the match at Anfield was put off. It would have been played the week before the Yugoslavia-England game, so technically Forest could, as Graham Sharp with the bandaged hand which kept him out today, Forest could, in theory, pick up 6 points there, and who knows, if they won today and were 10 points behind after this match, then maybe mathematically it certainly isn't over, and perhaps there's still a lot of football to be played that could change that championship picture. But Everton, as they come out, know that their neighbours have set an unparalleled standard in the First Division this season, and the defending champions have got to concentrate on the 2 cups and indeed on improving their league position, because the team finishing second in the Barclays League Division 1 could possibly be in the UEFA Cup next season if the door was opened again to English clubs for European football. And if it was, perhaps only 1 or 2 teams would go into the UEFA Cup, and this team, or one of these 2 teams, could be there. Don't think Bob Wilson's going to play in the second half, but neither is Brian Clough. So Nottingham Forest, who, as I said, may feel quite pleased in one way, only to be 1 down at half-time, may now have more of the game in the second half. Everton leading by that Wayne Clark goal on 14 minutes, and I doubt whether we'll see a better one in this match. Peter Reid, Wilson. Now Franz Carr, he could see more of the ball in the second half. Gaynor's in the middle, so too is Webb. It's still Carr. Stevens, forward by Watson. Tommy Gaynor. Good tackle by Ian Wilson. Watson looking up, trying to play the ball into the path of Heath. Volleyed clear by Stuart Pearce. Rice. Touched on to Terry Wilson by Gaynor. Here's Carr. Chettle, who tried to shoot there. Got a feeling he's stronger on his left foot, even though he's playing at right back. That's Trevor Stephen up to Adrian Heath. Brian Clough retrieves the ball. Webb. Stephen combination again, which they work so hard at here at Everton. Good understanding between those 2 England players on the right. And here's an England player on Forest's left, Pearce. Number 3. Good header by Foster. Conscious too, many of these players, of the European Championship coming up and England's warm-up games in prospect. Several of them playing for places in Bobby Robson's squad. There's Neil Webb, one of them.
I'm always very impressed, John, with Everton, the way they close people down, they tackle hard, they give them very little space. And even though they're playing against the wind this half, it's still a major part of their game, and it's given them still the advantage that they had in the first. We're talking about Neil Webb and Peter Reid, two very influential midfield players in this country, could be actually vying for that one midfield position when the Nations Cup comes around. Very interesting confrontation.
Here's Dave Watson. He'll be making a pitch for the one of the centre-back spots, no doubt. Now Reid. And Trevor Stephen, also a contender. Here's Snowden. Wilson. Clark waiting far side. Still Ian Wilson. And Starbuck, who's having a pretty hard lesson against Ratcliffe here. Good experience with the number 9, only 19. And Ratcliffe, one of the most reliable defenders in the business. Ian Wilson up against Steve Chettle. Free kick's been given. One of the few fouls we've seen. Watson's coming in now with the header, slightly wrong-footed. Here's Stephen. Five minutes gone in the second half at Goodison. Everton lead Nottingham Forest by 1-0. Throw-in to be taken by Gary Stevens. Watson's in there, so is Clark. It was Terry Wilson and then Foster. Now, was there a foot up there? Dangerous play by David Watson. On the chest there of Colin Foster.
He's done well, George Courtney, the referee. He's kept things going all the time. He's very rarely blown unless it was absolutely necessary. And it does make for a good match. I wish all referees would do that. He does play a lot of advantage, good advantage, which keeps the crowd's interest.
That was through for Starbuck, who's offside. Just a gentle pause as the second half begins to take shape here. Des Walker heading the ball out. Snowden, Stevens, Stephen. Now Ratcliffe. Everton's movement when they're on a day like this so assured. There goes Ian Wilson. Heath. Oh, good interception by Pearce. Chettle, the other full-back. Forward by Ratcliffe, offside. Adrian Heath just starting his run a fraction too early. And the away support for Nottingham Forest. Stationed at the left-hand end as we watch the game. Foster. Who've made the journey from the Midlands. They've had an exciting season in many ways, and maybe more to come. Snowden. Stevens forward again, the early ball. Snowden, Heath's waiting in the centre if he can get it in. Pearce whose challenge it was, a goal kick. We ought to make the point too, Bobby, from the Forest point of view. They are without Nigel Clough, who has developed into one of their most important players.
Yes, and influential too. When you get experienced players like Nigel Clough and of course Neil Webb, and you've got a lot of inexperienced youngsters around you, how the influential players behave and how they perform is very important. And of course, a player going out who is a regular in the side obviously does help as far as confidence is concerned with the others. They haven't just got it at the moment.
Here's Reid, who certainly has got it. Snowden. Everton are a battle-hardened side, aren't they? Forest very much a team for the future, if this season's evidence is to be believed. Still in this match at 1-0. The first half was so good that the Everton crowd around us are getting restless now when the ball goes back. Forward by Ratcliffe and away by Walker. Van den Hauwe. Snowden, good running, he's got it back, they're waiting, Stephen, and again, well, I'm not sure, Pearce got it away, lost count of the ricochets there, Trevor Stephen was close. 10 minutes gone in the second half, still 1-0. Foster's header out, Heath, got it down well, Watson's in there. Reid trying to get it back. Gary Stevens. Van den Hauwe. Sutton with the punch, the right thing to do, surely. Webb couldn't release Carr, but he can now. Now they want players moving to his left. Gaynor and Starbuck are both there, but neither in the ideal position. And the pass only went to Stevens. Stephen. Stuart Pearce, who was warned earlier by George Courtney, but George Courtney, knowing the temperature of the game, which has never got to boiling point, decides that that's just worth another warning word. They don't always have to show the card. Stephen, no. Watson, no. I think it was Des Walker who fell in front of him. Reid. Stevens. Heath. Having a lively match. Nice and neat. Reid, always busy. Webb. Now, can Carr reach this? No. Some very unnecessary chance directed there at Franz Carr. I think we can do without that. Foster. Reid away from Webb. He's going for the jugular again here. He's made 2 or 3 runs straight at the centre of the Forest defence, Peter Reid, and it's very exciting to see a midfield player do that. Van den Hauwe. Chettle. Just enough uncertainty and just enough mistakes to keep this match nicely in the balance. Certainly while it's 1-0 to Everton. Chettle. Snowden. Heath. Snowden! Oh, well, a lovely move. In truth, finishing is not the strongest part of Ian Snowden's game. He admits that. He gets into some great positions, but he's certainly skied that return pass from Adrian Heath.
Is there anything more exciting than seeing a midfield player coming from the deep and attacking defenders? And really unselfish play there by Adrian Heath, who may have felt a little selfish and got himself, but laid a great ball and a half chance that actually just didn't come off. Maybe it deserved to. Everton are really playing good, adventurous stuff, and the wind doesn't seem to have affected them one iota.
Here's Ian Wilson. Reid again. Just the two to his right at the minute. Others arriving. Heath. Here's Snowden again. It's all falling his way at the moment. Well, that was Gaynor, fouled by Ratcliffe. Good advantage played again. Referee's just explaining that off the ball to Tommy Gaynor, because Forest, at that split second, was still in possession. Clark. Chettle. Reid. Stevens. Foster and Clark. And again, Ratcliffe gets the better of Starbuck. Just wonder, as Trevor Brooking intimated, whether Paul Wilkinson might get on for Forest later in the half. Here's Stephen. Heath, good ball by Clark. No power this time. Another scintillating move by Everton. Everything was right about the build-up. Adrian Heath at the heart of it again. The touch there, delicate, but deadly as well. Look at the way he turned that in. Quarter of an hour gone in the second half. It's still Everton 1, Forest 0. But Everton, thoroughbreds in stride here. Peter Reid, Stephen, and now Clark. Blue shirts going right and left, making angles all the time. Vanden Hauwe, Wilson, and now it's Reid. The shot's on.
Quite brilliant football by Everton. Some of the best football I've seen all season. I've never seen so much unselfish play. Everyone, the ball is distributed right throughout the side. No one is doing more than they have to. Really good, adventurous football.
But wait, here's Starbuck for Forest, and my word, Gaynor was free to his left. If he could just have got the ball in there. This is Carr. And he may get the ball in, and Ratcliffe with a good diving header. Had to make it. Wilson's there too. And suddenly you remind yourself it's still only 1-0. But for how long? Trevor Stephen to Clark. Just rolled that too far forward. Des Walker gets a foot in. Nothing negative about this match. Every player seems to want to join in this attacking exhibition. Mostly from Everton, that's true, but they haven't allowed Forest the chance yet to take the game over, even for a few minutes.
I think that Forest actually, John, are waiting for a breather when they can actually have a little look round and consolidate something. At the moment, the thing's happening so fast and furious in front of them that there's not much they can do other than pick up men and mark. Such is the way that Everton are playing. It's really good, adventurous stuff. But while it's 1-0, I suppose Everton will worry. The further the game goes on too, and of course, that breather may come. It certainly doesn't look likely just yet. But there again, the first corner, I'm not sure, certainly the first corner this half to Nottingham Forest. And a little breather for the back four.
Yes, one of them, Colin Foster, has actually made his way forward here. Rice will take the corner on the left. And Wilson came to him for the volley, Terry Wilson. Nothing can be taken for granted here by Everton, not when they allow the number 6 that kind of space by the penalty spot. Webb. Chettle. Carr. It's Trevor Stephen doing a defensive job in midfield there. Chettle again. He looks left-footed to me, this right-back, Bobby. You don't often see a left-footed player playing in that position.
No, but obviously he's done well, otherwise Brian Clough wouldn't play him there. It sometimes helps, you know, when you're going forward, you know, have a left-footed defender in that position, because it gives you a different approach when knocking crosses in, etc. Also gives you that little bit more time and space. It's not preferable, but sometimes it works.
Here he is again. Got his right foot in there anyway. Here's Webb. The tackling is fast and furious, but it's also fair. And that's an offside against Tommy Gaynor. Well, it's a naive question, really, Bobby, but it makes you wonder why more games can't be like this.
Well, Everton's performance is probably the result of how Liverpool have been doing. Also the fact that if it is decided that we will go into Europe, that they're going to possibly get in as one of the second or third places. So it's very important for them. Of course, they're losing face while Liverpool are winning all these matches, and it's up to them to support, to give the... I was saying it's up to them to give their supporters what they want, which is really good performances, something like what they're getting across the park. They've everything to play for yet in the season, Everton.
That was Watson. This is Rice. And Forest have got everything to play for in this match, the way things stand. Still 1-0, remember. Quite White stayed 1-0 since the 14th minute. I can't explain, but 20 minutes gone in the second half now. Everton still having the greater share of play, and also the free kick here. Just been led to believe that's only the 14th foul of the game, and there certainly hasn't been a vicious one. Maybe a couple of over-exuberant challenges by Pearce, but apart from that, it's all been played in the right spirit. Ratcliffe drives it forward for Everton. Walker turns away from Heath. Snowden, Chettle, Vanden Hauwe, Reid. There haven't been many back passes either, which has been very refreshing. Snowden. Foster. Rice. Oh, good touch by Gaynor to Foster. Well, Forest parading their skills there. Typically, Everton win the ball back almost instantly. Reid. And work it quickly down their right-hand side. Reid goes again. Webb is with him. Oh, look at that. Stephen. Volleyed away by Chettle. And again, Goodison rises to Peter Reid, the player coach. Halfway through the second half, his side still lead by 1-0. Scored by Wayne Clark after 14 minutes. And if anybody has joined us very late, you've missed a bit of a treat. Doesn't have to be 4-3 to be a sparkling match. There's been some enterprising football, and there might be some more to come. This is Clark. Foul. Carr on Vanden Hauwe. Used his hands. In goes Watson. Here's Heath, the overhead. Peels for handball. Des Walker said it hit him in the face. Well, not easy conditions these. The rain has eased, but it's still fairly windy. Gusty is the word, I think. Pierce. Starbuck again finding Ratcliffe an immovable object. Here's Snowden. Looked like a handball in there. "20 minutes of this First Division match remaining. Everton still with the edge. 1-0. Heath. Corner. Chettle. Trevor Stephen will take this, and the players in the near post area to watch for. There's Clark, and joining him there also Vanden Houwe. But if the corner's delivery is not quite right, then the front man, which was Chettle, will get the ball away. Stephen. Webb, rather. Now Wilson. It was Webb, actually, who was defending the near post on that corner, and it was his header just then, too. Now Starbuck. Terry Wilson. Oh! Offside.
Franz Carr there must have been about 10 yards offside, and he's in the position where he could look right across the field. Really rather silly, because they're looking for a little outlet, the midfield players. They want a forward to take a little bit of the pressure off them, and they're not getting it at the moment. All their attacks are very, very spasmodic. Everton still going forward, wanting that second goal.
Clark. Stephen feels for handball against Pierce, not given. Starbuck. Wilson. Webb. Carr. Now he has got a chance to go past Vanden Houwe, and there are three in the middle, but it was made easy for the goalkeeper. Not the best of passes from Franz Carr. Sometimes his final ball doesn't match his speed.
No, I think he's so fast, Franz Carr. He might have got as near as he could to the dead ball line there and maybe pulled it back in front of his midfield players coming onto the ball rather than the ball that he played, which is much too early.
Just a reminder, though, that Forest still have a say in this match. They've had backs to the wall for long periods, but there goes Starbuck, and off Watson and Southall. Look where the goalkeeper is now. This is Carr. He's got to get back, Southall. And now Chettle. And away by Ratcliffe. And a lovely ball by Clark for Reed, who for once didn't collect it in stride. And don't know whether Neville Southall feels he should suddenly put himself up as a centre-half, but that's certainly where he cropped up 25 yards out there.
Yes, sometimes he had to make the decision whether it was the right time or the wrong time to go out. He made the wrong decision, as it turns out, but got away with it because his defender's still in a good tackling mood.
Terry Wilson. Forest now seeing a little bit more of the ball, and that's what's made the match so interesting. Everton have not managed to put it beyond Forest's reach for all their territorial superiority. Here's Reed. Wilson. Ratcliffe, who was the man who made that important clearance a minute ago. Stephen. Gaynor, but allowing Stephen to win it back. And Tommy Gaynor again, and Everton having to backpedal a bit, and Franz Carr on this side of the field had found a very good position there. Here's Webb. Tries to get Pearce through from the left-back position. And there's going to be a substitution. Franz Carr is being called off. And Liam O'Kane, the Forest coach there, gets Franz Carr's replacement ready. And Southall has to come. So Gary Fleming has come on the right-hand side for Nottingham Forest. And here's Stephen. Oh, and Ian Wilson's in here. Good challenge, Chettle. Well, that could have been number 2 for the little Scots midfield player there, because he found a jolly good position beyond the fullback, who couldn't reach the header, but then didn't quite have the angle to finish it. But what it will mean is an Everton corner. Watson is forward again. Vanden Hauwe facing the kicker. And Peter Reid says, hang on a minute. Now he has the ball, and now Stephen has it. And Watson, and Clark, and Heath. Well, Adrian Heath had a snapshot there, but it was always rising. Reid. Was it hands? George Courtney was wonderfully well placed at his side, as he has been most of the afternoon. Watson's in there, Fleming to clear. There may be a moment later on just to praise George Courtney's handling of this match. I know it's been mentioned already. We haven't seen a yellow card. It's a compliment too, obviously, to the two teams. There's Wilson and Chettle. Now that was a handoff. And one just wonders here whether Everton can turn the screw and get the second goal, which has so far eluded them. It's the kind of position from which they've often scored in the past. A lot of players in the box. Watson's in there supporting Clark. It's come out to Gary Stevens, and again, goal kick.
Gary Stevens there, tried one from outside the box. It was a little bit hopeful, I felt. But nevertheless, they've got that goal, and it's up to Nottingham Forest now to keep up their title challenge by going forward and being a little bit more positive than they have been. They've not had that much space and time, I must admit, though.
Here's Gaynor. Played it to Webb. Out again to Fleming. Chance now perhaps here for Forest. Starbuck. Well, if you can hang on long enough in a game like this and keep the score down to 1-0 as Forest have done, there's always the opportunity late in the day to turn the game round. And if Starbuck could have turned that shot round a bit further, he might have done just that. Des Walker. Oh, came off Pearce, and Heath cutting off the back pass. Webb. Little back flick from Snowden. Reed and Wilson now. Heath trying to help it out to Stephen, but Rice for Forest. Starbuck. Webb. Chettle. Fleming. Webb again. He did some hurried cover again there. This is Clark. Foster behind him. That's a free kick. I doubt whether the Forest player was 10 yards away, but Peter Reid took it, trying to gain advantage early, and didn't work out for him. Well, we have 10 minutes left, and if the second half hasn't quite lived up to the first, well, it was a towering standard. The score, though, remains the same. Everton 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Gainer for Forest. Webb. Gainer. Good. Oh, the flag's up. The flag's up on our side. And I can only assume there was an offside there, Bobby.
Yeah, there was. I think one of the central players was offside. But one thing to notice there about Nottingham Forest, 3 midfield players supplementing the forwards there and put a lot of pressure on the back four. I know we've only got about 10 minutes left to play, but I think if I was Everton, I would be thinking, well, I wish we'd have got that other goal, because Forest just creeping into it slightly at the moment. Midfield players getting a little bit further forward and supporting the forward players.
Vanden Houw. Snowden. Oh, interception. It was Clark who gave it away. This is Foster, and Forest have suddenly got 5 men in attack. Still Foster. And still. And Webb goes in. And I just wondered there whether Foster could have played it a bit earlier, but he went for the line, didn't he?
Well, for a big man, his control there was absolutely superb, and he had a look round. He saw that there was no one available, so went to the dead ball line again. Actually didn't pull the ball back far enough, otherwise Everton were in real trouble. But for a big lad, that was absolutely superb football. Well played, young lad. Brilliant.
There's Wilson. That's Ian Wilson for Everton. Stephen to Stevens. Rolled it down the right, but Walker coming across in front of Reed. Rice. And Snowden. Stephen. Everton forcing the game again. Snowden. Stevens, 3 waiting in the middle for a cross. Heath! What a good stop. And what a smart header. Gary Stevens with the ball in. Adrian Heath with the flying header, and Steve Sutton quickly down to his left. Steve Sutton will look back on 2 fine stops which have kept the score down to 1-0. Here's Webb for Forest, who's by necessity spent most of the time in his own half, and that's an offside. 8 minutes left. Still the 1 goal between these 2 teams, but the quality of the football has been very enjoyable. Vanden Houw, look at Reed there in the opposing penalty area again. Everton have the corner. Foster there up with Clark. Corner again. They've still got Dave Watson poised to come in from the back for the second header. change the angle. Trevor Stephen. Came off the head of Foster. Everton throw. Well, Everton have maintained the momentum for the most part. Still denying Forest anything other than a spasmodic attack, but the right one could still bring the equaliser. Just as Everton continue to pursue their second goal. Vanden Hauwe, Snowden, Reed. Clark and Foster, Pearce. Dave Watson. Watson's header finds only Webb. Here's Chettle. That was his left foot shot. 5 minutes then, here at Goodison Park. 3 points here for Everton would mean that they move up to 5th and close the gap between themselves and Forest to 3 points. Although Everton have played 2 more games, I have to say. Ratcliffe, as usual, the model of consistency at the back. Driving header by Clark. Play on, said George Courtney, and rightly so. Trevor Stephen to Gary Stevens. Reed. Oh, for once he's lost out, but see again how quickly somebody else wins it back. Snowden in that instance. Heath. Oh, good. Reed. And Stephen follows up here. It struck Walker and came to Rice. Starbuck. Well, Ratcliffe won the ball. Play on, Heath, and Ratcliffe goes again, and Foster sticks out the all-important leg. Kevin Ratcliffe, just going back to his position, gets a round of applause for that imaginative burst, having won the ball himself. Vanden Hauwe. Another lofted ball by him. It's too long this time, although Stephen is chasing it. Rice. Well done. Neat to Pearce. Starbuck. Terry Wilson. Webb's gone through the middle, wasn't seen. Chettle. Everton are a bit of a line here. Forest are pushing up on them. There were plenty of players forward, but they weren't found. It's beginning to look as though that wonderful goal, after only a quarter of an hour, is going to settle this match. 2.5 minutes, though, to go, so let's wait and see. Webb. Ratcliffe. Foster. Heath. There's no question who's in the greater hurry here. Don't think Ratcliffe's done anything wrong again today. So solid in the Everton defence there. And that partnership with Watson is looking formidable now. But here's Des Walker charging on. Ratcliffe's tackle. Sure, that wasn't a free kick, really, but anyway, I wouldn't argue with George Courtney on his form today. Here's Webb. Offside. Everton a bit fortunate to get the flag, really, because they weren't in position, Bobby, were they?
No, Gary Stevens had come off for offside at the far side, but over here, Kevin Ratcliffe hadn't. As it turns out, it was a bit borderline, and the linesman shot his flag up. I must say, though, John, what a terrific game this has been. Although maybe we're only going to see one goal, it has been one of the best games that I've seen this season. If we'd have had 4 or 5 goals in it, I think that would have been paradise.
Here's Heath. Struck Foster with the shot. Yes, perhaps the score, or when people see the result, won't quite reflect the standard of entertainment that we've seen. Here's Adrian Heath. Ian Wilson. 2 to his right. Now, this could be on for Everton. They've got players to spare. Trevor Stephen. Well, he went for glory when he could have gone for Gary Stevens outside him. We're in the last minute. And it's still Everton leading by 1-0. Which would put an end to their sticky run of 2 consecutive defeats, but would mean Forest go down for the second match running. Can they save it yet? Gaynor. George Courtney checks his watch. Fouled by Ratcliffe in the centre circle, and Neil Webb not happy about the way Ratcliffe stood on the ball. But this surely is Forest's last chance, and they're putting everybody forward. Shettle's up, Foster's up. Walker's going up now. Was Heath 10 yards? I would have thought not. Well, Foster's the tallest man up there. And it's floated for him. Watson's header. Reed. Touched by Wilson. Gaynor. Ratcliffe's in there. And the whistle's gone. It's gone to signal the end of a most pleasing match. Nottingham Forest finish up beaten on the play. That was only right. Everton had far more of the game. Played at times some luxury football, although they only had 1 goal to show for it, coming as early as the 14th minute from number 9 there, Wayne Clark. Brian Clough's side will have learned a lot from the match, not as experienced as Everton are, of course, but 2 teams who reflected great credit there. It's Paul Bracewell and Graham Sharp. 2 teams who reflected great credit on the First Division and on their own game in a match which ended Everton 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
So pleasant to watch a match and start 1988 with a match of such style. It did surprise me a little bit. I think that Brian Clough's young lads did look raw in that game, and it makes him a bit more of a magician that he's been able to conjure up what he has with those lads. But that man himself is waiting down there talking to Bob Wilson. Brian Clough.
Now, Brian, what were your thoughts about that game?
Well, I thought it was an absolute cracking game, Bob. A pity there wasn't a few more goals, obviously, and a pity we didn't get one. But it was a smashing game.
What were your thoughts about Everton? They did play very well, didn't they?
Particularly first half. I thought they were a bit quicker to the ball than us, full of confidence, and obviously a very, very experienced side. They're a club and a team full of internationals, so you expect that type of performance from them.
That's the sort of game that your young lads really need to build up their experience.
Well, every single game is a bonus to us regarding age-wise, and the more time we come to places like this and to Highbury and to other big grounds and good teams, the better we will become. We played extremely well second half, considering our inexperience.
You said you are really very excited by this young side of yours.
Well, I couldn't be more excited. I think the most excited I've been for many, many years. I missed my son playing centre-forward today. I missed him as a centre-forward and as a son. I think we could have just shaken them.
Can anybody catch Liverpool, Brian?
Well, we're going to try, despite today's 1-0 defeat. That's our second in a couple of days. But we've battled for 290 minutes. We can only get better, and we'll try and catch Liverpool.
They seem to be making you younger, this young side of yours.
I'm going to be around till they grow old.
We look forward to that. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you,
Happy New Year.
Same to you, young man.
Yeah. Young man, and so he should smile at the end of that performance, although they lost the match. But it was some match, as we all agree. Let's have a look at the best moments of it again now.
Ian Wilson Challenged by Terry Wilson. Van den Hauw. Pearce coming across. Ian Wilson again, Heath. Van den Hauw still wide. Trevor Stephen, Clarkson there. Oh, what a great goal by Wayne Clark. In goes Clark. That's Peter Reid's shot, deflection. What a terrific save. Brilliant reactions by Steve Sutton. Stephen, Clark closing. Oh, he's hit the bar. Another brilliant instinctive effort by Wayne Clark. Reid as Everton relentlessly power forward again. Heath got the touch, Reid goes through. This is so exciting. 5 minutes to half-time. Everton 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Heath with Walker. And Heath is through. Well played, the keeper. He just showed enough of it to him, Adrian Heath. Reid. Heath! Oh, what power in that. Chettle. Snowden. Heath. Snowden! Oh, well, a lovely move. Here's Stephen. Heath, good ball by Clark. No power this time. Peter Reid. Stephen, and now Clark. Blue shirts going right and left, making angles all the time. Van den Hauw. Wilson. And now it's Reid. The shot's on.
Quite brilliant football by Everton.
And Watson, and Clark, and Heath. Webb. Out again to Fleming. Chance now perhaps here for Forest. Starbuck. Everton forcing the game again. Snowden. Stevens, three waiting in the middle for a cross. Heath! What a good stop. And what a smart header.
Well, you got your prediction right, Trev. Today wasn't all that difficult. What about the man of the match?
Good start of the new year. You know, Peter Reid, I think, I mean, all-round midfield ability, and it's great to see a midfield player actually running with the ball, committing defenders. And, you know, I think Adrian Heath just close behind, perhaps, because he had a great game, particularly second half.
And Trevor Stephen also, the sharpest I've seen him for some time.
Yeah, he's good. He takes people on as well, gives them width, which obviously, you know, is badly needed in this game, particularly in congested midfields. But a good all-round performance, excellent by Everton.
Brian has done a bit of magic, hasn't he? Because, I mean, they look very raw today, those kids.
Nice to see him mention his son, Nigel Clough. He always calls him number 9, doesn't he? But they did miss him today because he is the focal point. You know, they linked through him, and definitely I should think he'd be very pleased to see him back soon.
Well, perhaps we'll get another opportunity to see him with his son and his team complete, because I'm sure that would be a pleasure. They did their part in the game today, but it was Everton's afternoon. Well, in conclusion, let's make a date for next Sunday afternoon to enjoy the excitement of the oldest cup competition in the world of football, the FA Cup, as Ipswich Town play Manchester United, and we're joined by England manager Bobby Robson, who led Ipswich to a cup victory 10 years ago. Good afternoon to you.